Today, something a little different. Guys are always coming up to me, big guys, tears in their eyes, saying, should I buy a 12-string guitar? Well, today, we're going to compare a couple and come up with some pros and cons on both. So, for our comparison today, we're going to use these two Seagulls. Seagull made by Godin in Quebec, Canada. This is a 2001 S6 Plus Burst with solid cedar top, laminated cherry sides and back, maple neck, rosewood fretboard, and bridge. This is a 2012 S12 Coastline. Same makeup. I believe it's laminated cherry, wild cherry on the backs and the side. It might be solid, but my guess is laminated. Basically the same construction. This one I bought just a couple of years ago. It was a 2001, but it had sat in a Burlington, Ontario guitar store since 2001 until 2021, when it was bought for a girl for Christmas one year. She was going to learn how to play. She never did. Had it out of the case maybe twice in a year, and I picked it up the next year. So it's a 20-year-old guitar that only has 2-3 years worth of playing on it. 2 years, I guess, now, because I got it in 2022. So less than 2 years playing on it. The 2012 S12, I started playing in the mid-80s. I picked up myself an old Yamaha acoustic and a Squier Stratocaster 84 and 87, and since then I would always wanted a 12 string. As soon as I saw there was 12 strings and heard one, I wanted one. But being left-handed, you don't just pick one out and try it anywhere. I grew up in a small town in Canada here, so I had no opportunity to get a left-handed 12 string to be able to play it long enough to see if I really wanted to have one or not. I didn't even know anybody with a right-handed 12 string where I could play it and try and see it. So the only option I had was to have one made. So that was to put out all the money to have a left-handed 12 string made in the mid-80s. It would have cost a fortune, and then you had no recourse. If you didn't like it, oh well, you had it built specifically for you. So I spent from the mid-80s till 2019 when I found this one. I originally saw one online at a guitar shop. I won't mention their name, but their initials are L&M. They had one in New Brunswick, Canada. There was a used one down there, and I asked them, would you ship it up here so I could, take a look at it? And they said that I would have to pay for all the shipping and that. And then whether I wanted it or not, I would still have that charge. So that was in the fall, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And then in the springtime, I spent the winter saving up, was able to finally afford one, and I called them up, said, okay, have the thing sent up. And of course it had sold. So I decided I would go directly to Seagull and have them send me one, order one. And I found out that not only did they no longer make the left-handed Coastline S12 guitar, they were not making any 12-string left-handed guitars anymore. I guess not enough people wanting them. So I was rather depressed, and I kept looking around here and there, and this girl popped up on eBay. I guess it was in late 2019. So I ran to my computer and I ordered it. It came out of somewhere in Tennessee. Somebody had it down there. And so I had it shipped up here, and we've been living happily ever after since. That was, as I say, in 2019. This one I got in 2022, just before Christmas of last year. So it's only got about 6 to 8 months of play on it from when it was brand new. And those are the two that we are going to compare today. I figured, seeing that they're both Seagulls, they had the same exceptional build quality. They are budget guitars. They are fairly inexpensive. I don't know what they would have been new. This one I picked up for about $400. This one for, I think it was about $600, but that also included having it shipped up from Tennessee, where whoever owned it before me did. So for the comparison, what we're going to do is I'm going to play a few things on the 6 string, and then I will cut it and play the same few bars or whatever it is I play on the 12 string. I have a fairly inexpensive, cheap microphone. It's not that great quality, but you should be able to tell with the difference between the two what kind of a percentage of betterness is coming through. Betterness? That's a word, I'm sure. Anyway, so that's how we're going to do this. I will, as I say, play a bit here, play a bit there, and then we will go through some of the pros and cons of the actual 6 string to 12 string playing ability and that sort of thing, you know, the features of them. Oh yes, and they both have light D'Addario strings, the same gauges, only twice as many. And so it should be as close a comparison as I think we can probably make. So the first thing we're going to do is just go through a few basic chords. I'm just going to strum them. I usually don't play with a pick, so I'm going to be no good at that. But I'm just going to strum a few chords just so you have an idea of the feel of what you're going to end up with. I should also mention I'm in D, G, C, F, A, D tuning. I've tuned it down because of the 12 string. You've got the added pressure on the bridge here, which creates a bubbling at the bottom here. This one has a bubble on it. The person that I got it from, I think they played it in standard G tuning, the standard tuning that everybody plays in. But as I say, that puts an extra amount of pressure on the bridge and it will bubble up a bit. There's a slight bit of gap underneath the bridge here. Eventually I'm going to have it fixed, but I just got to play it too much right now because I got to play it. Anyways, that's something else that you should probably know. I'm just going to play the individual strings. So as you can see, there really is no comparison to the two. The 12 string is so much more full sound. If you have a complete band with you, this was fine. You know, if you have a bass player and a drummer and all that sort of stuff. If it's just you playing, then by all means, the 12 string is going to give you that full sound where you can make it sound like a complete band playing. There's just really no comparison. I love this guitar. It's great for what it does. You know, if I was going to be traveling anywhere, I would not take a chance at losing a left-handed 12 string. Not a chance that I would take that that risk. You know, if I lost this, it would suck, but I can find more left-handed 6 strings. A left-handed 12 string, not so much. So that is basically the comparison. Now after the sound, we get into the other things. When I was thinking about getting a 12 string, what a lot of people said was that it's going to be harder on your hands because you have to push 2 strings instead of 1 down to the fretboard. Well, yeah, I got this, but I had this before guitar. Guitar was partially part of this here problem, but also hockey, motorcycle, work, 100 things contributed to this here. So yeah, guitar probably never really helped, but I was going to have this problem anyways. So what the problem with it's going to be added pressure by pushing down 2 strings? No. What you'll find is when you have the 2 strings so close together, your finger has a larger contact area. So it is actually easier. What I find is when I go back to playing the 6 string, I end up with the sore parts of my calluses because they are not used to having 1 skinny string push on it instead of 2 skinny strings pushing slightly apart from each other. So it is literally, I find, much easier to play a 12 string. So the other thing is we have the wider neck on this one. Well, this one specifically because of it being a Seagull. So yes, I just measured both the 6 and the 12 string. The Seagulls have a 1.8 width neck. My old Yamaha has a 1.7. It is a little more jammed. When I go play it for a while, because I keep it in a different tuning, so I do use it fairly often yet, you will notice the difference flipping back and forth between the two, to the wide neck to the narrow neck. But honestly, within about 3 to 5 minutes, you get used to it. It's not that hard. It's similar to how if I am at somebody else's place and I go to pick up their guitar, of course, 99% of the time it's a right-handed one. I spent the first year playing a right-handed guitar, so like upside down. So it takes me about 3 to 5 minutes to train my hand to make the other set of chords, basically. So as I say, you will adjust without any problem at all. My personal is, go for it. If you don't have a 12 string and you can afford it and you've been looking for something to progress your playing and make playing fun again, or a different type of fun, a different degree of fun, by all means, pay the extra. You will enjoy it beyond anything that you can think. That's basically it. So now I'm just gonna play us out with a couple of bars of chord like songs. I'll be doing it finger style because, as I say, I don't play with a pick. The only reason I was using the pick was to send out the sound so much more clear and vibrantly for the comparison test. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Any comments, by all means, leave them down in the bottom. I do read all the comments. They're not many, but I will read them and reply. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Oh yeah, and the sustain is wild on this thing. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.